Hello, hello! Welcome to my kitchen. It's so good to have you here for another version of Learning with Lisa. I'm Lisa, and I'm going to give it just a minute for a couple people to pop on here. I'm sure that there's a lot of people getting dinner ready right now and doing a lot of fun things on this Friday afternoon, rushing around like crazy people, right? Because that's what we do. Okay, so I want to kind of nerd out a little bit today, if you allow me to. As you saw on the clip, it says we're going to talk about why these brownies are nutritious, why they make us happy, why they are actually good for us. So the first thing we're going to talk about that's in these brownies is sweet potatoes. So right here, I have my roasted sweet potato. In the recipe, you can roast these in the oven. It gives directions for that. Or you can cut them up, peel them. The peelings come off when you bake them very easily. So you can either chop them up and cook them in water in a pan, or you can roast them in the oven. This one I roasted earlier. So about sweet potatoes, these brownies have no flour in them. So the sweet potatoes, well, first let me back up a little bit while I'm putting these in there. I forgot to mention, you can find any of these recipes on my website, Replenish HQ. And this recipe book you can find these in is called Replenish Me. I will post that link in the comments below. So I get asked a lot with what I do. Is this food good for me? Is this food bad for me? And I just don't like thinking about food like that in the good or bad category, in the cheating. I had a cheat day, counting calories. I like to look at food as whether it's nutrient dense. Does it have food value? That's why we actually eat. I know a lot of you might find that shocking. Oh, I just saw my friend Emma pop on here. Hi, Emma. It's so good. Miss you. So total side note, but I haven't seen Emma in months, so that's super cool to see her on here. So back to the sweet potatoes and food value and good food and bad for you. When we think about food as good and bad, that puts us in a mindset that is not very conducive to good overall mind-body health. When we think about food as nutrient dense versus negative and depleting, that is a better way to actually think about food, because food is nutrition for the body. Bottom line, I know many of us think it's all about what goes on in here and our taste buds, but it's actually to feed and fuel our body. Hence why we have such a problem in our country with people being overweight, because they are all about this many times and not looking at food as value. So we're going to talk about brownies today that are so nutrient dense. Thank you all for popping on here. It's so good to see you. Emma, I can't see what you're saying, but I'll respond later. And if you guys have questions, always feel free to comment and I will get back to them as soon as I can. Okay, so sweet potatoes, they're actually highly nutritious. They're really, really good for us. They are not like a white potato. They're loaded with vitamins and minerals. They're super high in fiber. I want to camp out on that for a little bit because you're going to hear me talk about these ingredients, and many of them are high in fiber. And that's super important for colon health. And you hear about people all the time getting colon cancer. You want a high fiber, rich, nutrient dense diet to avoid those kind of things. Oh, my daughter just dropped on. Sorry I can't say hi to all of you guys, but hi, Erin. And if Bree's in the room, give her a shout out for me. So that's super important because fiber actually slows down the insulin response in your body. Why the heck is that important? Well, that is super important. The reason why we have diabetes so rampant in this country is because the typical American diet is loaded with sugar, whether it's the white table sugar you get or whether it is because you're eating things, pastas and pizza and bread that turns to sugar really fast in your system. This causes an immediate insulin response and you end up in insulin resistance and diabetes. It's really bad for you. So you want to look at things that actually slow down a sugar release, an insulin release in your body. So these do that in many ways, and we're going to talk about that. So that is one huge. They're also low glycemic, which goes hand in hand with that insulin response. We want to stay below 55 on the glycemic index with the food we eat. You can check that out, Google glycemic index, you'll be able to find all that out. Sweet potatoes are also antioxidant rich. Whenever you hear antioxidant rich, that means that it's cancer fighting. That's what we want, lots of antioxidants. I see my daughter texting, Ryan's here too. Hey Ryan. We want food. You're gonna hear me talk about a lot of food that's antioxidant rich. Super important, think cancer fighting. Then these are orange, they have beta carotene. You've heard that, right, in carrots. Well, carrots are not the only thing that are orange with beta carotene. That actually helps your eyes. It supports your eye health. It turns to vitamin A in our body and feeds our eyes. So there is just one ingredient. That's the main ingredient, and look at how great and powerful it is. Now we're going to talk about coconut flour. I hear a lot of times that you guys have a hard time finding this in stores. I was able to find it in our local markets. There's something called Barron's. I was able to find it there. Trader Joe's, forget it. I haven't seen it in there in months. But no worries. You can order this online. Super easy. Organic coconut flour. The coconut flour actually has a lot of fiber in it. There again, think colon health. It's really good for you. So there's 2 ingredients now so far in these brownies that are super good for you. Helps slow down that insulin response. Fights cancer, right? Fights colon cancer because we've got the fiber. So then just even a simple thing like salt. I'm going to show you, I have this big old Costco variety of the Himalayan salt. But can you see all the different colors in there? That's what salt is actually supposed to look like. Salt is not supposed to be white. That means it's been through chemical processing and it's removed all these super healthy minerals. So you want the Himalayan, or there's other colored salt. This has loaded with minerals. We need trace minerals. It is an electrolyte for our body, so that fuels our body when it helps us stay hydrated, and it's also great for your adrenal gland support. So even down to the salt in this recipe, right? Maple syrup versus honey. You're gonna hear me talk about this a lot in the recipes. A lot of the recipes I make, I use maple syrup or honey for a sweetener. When you go in the Replenish Me cookbook, you'll see that. Dates are also an option. I like to use honey raw. See how it says raw? Many of you probably already know that honey supports your immune system. However, when you heat honey up, it loses what that's considered raw. If you heat anything over 100 degrees, it's going to break down and degrade in its value. So having it raw, so I like to use this in things that I'm not heating up. And I like to use the maple syrup more for heating up for a sweetener. It is also very low glycemic, like we were just talking about. So now we're going to talk about this superfood. This is another main ingredient in there, cacao powder. This is called a superfood. I should have shut my door over here. You guys are probably hearing all kinds of background noise and my little dog barking. So cacao versus cocoa powder. You've probably seen cocoa powder and you're like, what's the difference? This costs like twice as much. I'm just going to get the cheap stuff. There's a huge difference. You don't want to do that. This is a superfood. It's raw in nature. Check out this list. Boosting mood, cardiovascular health, slows down premature aging. Hello, ladies that care about their skin. Slows down premature aging. It also helps you burn fat. So does the coconut oil in this recipe. They both help you burn fat. And It lowers your blood pressure. It's antioxidant rich. There we go, cancer fighting again. And it is the highest plant source of iron on the planet. How cool is that? If you're low on iron, you want your cacao powder. The difference between those two things, the cocoa powder and the cacao powder, is this is a raw ingredient. The cocoa powder, they actually cook it, bake it, break it down. It degrades it, just how we were talking about the honey kind of being raw versus cooked and things. And so the raw is much better. So cacao powder, not cocoa powder. Okay, I promise we're gonna make the brownies and they'll go super fast, but I wanted to nerd out a little bit because that's my heart. I love scientific, this is all backed by scientific research, and I just love the food facts of this particular recipe is loaded with nutrition, yet it's still super yummy. So the last ingredient, if you're a client of mine, more than likely you probably take this product. We're gonna add just one little packet. It's called cinnamate, but check this out. What this does on top of all this other nutrition and plant-dense things is it supports healthy blood sugar levels. So right, even with the little bit of sugar in here, this is gonna balance that blood sugar out even lower. So it regulates blood sugar, it brings support to a healthy cholesterol. It has tons and tons of trace minerals. So this, with the salt, with the cacao powder, with the cinnamate, is loaded with trace minerals. We need trace minerals. We don't get them unless we're intentional about seeking out trace minerals. They support every aspect of body function. And then this also supports strong bones. So does the cacao powder. And it improves your memory and mood. So right, the cacao powder did that too. So these are happy brownies. That's why I said that, it makes you happy. And it also supports your immune system. So we're all about that nowadays, right? Nice, strong, healthy, smart immune systems. This has cinnamon in it. It tastes fabulous. It just takes this recipe up a notch. So that is the main ingredients. As always with the eggs, I encourage you guys to buy free range eggs. Yes, you go in the grocery store and you see, well, these are $5 and I can get eggs for $1.99. The problem is those eggs for $1.99, here we go with the nutrient dense versus the negative and not healthy effect it's gonna have on you. These are much more nutritious because the chickens are treated well the way they were designed to be treated. And really, if you break it down, that's like 40 cents an egg. That's still a lot of nutrition for not very much money. Okay, so let's do our recipe. Hopefully you guys saw on the post I had earlier all the ingredients you need if you're making this lovely recipe with me. Check this out. This is so funny. If you guys were on my video, this has like shells and skins of the potato. That is all going in my compost bin. So we're gonna have more on the compost later. How fun is that? And so you guys are just totally nerding out with me. Also, please like, comment, support by sharing this video. Get the love out. I love adding value to people's lives, and you guys can help me with that. So please share this video with your friends and family. That would be awesome. Okay, so this recipe actually is cut in half because I've made it a few times and used up my sweet potatoes. So you saw the size of that sweet potato. I also took a picture in one of the posts by a banana. It was a pretty large sweet potato. After you cook it, kind of looks like that. And that's gonna be about 1 cup. This is probably a little more than 1 cup. So you want it smashed down in here. We're gonna use the blender too. But then you're going to want to add your coconut oil to it. When it comes warm right out of the oven, oh my gosh, my son is on here now too. This is just like such a happy day for this mama. I've got all my kids on there. Oh, I love you guys. Thanks for joining me live. I can't see what they're saying. Jordan's probably saying something sarcastic, possibly. So Aaron can respond to that. Okay, so anyways, we have coconut oil. When you add the coconut oil, when the sweet potatoes come warm out of the oven, that'll melt your coconut oil. Sometimes your coconut oil is like a brick, so you're gonna wanna have it melted. I actually just set this out in the sun and used the sunlight to warm up the coconut oil because my sweet potato is cold. I made it a while ago. But you don't wanna add your eggs to the sweet potato when it's hot out of the oven. That'll cook the eggs. So we're gonna blend this up. Isn't that so fun, you guys? All the fun facts. My son's saying the kitchen looks great. Thank you. Pop made it amazing for me. I'm super excited about this kitchen. I'm super excited about having you guys here with me. Okay, so another thing, because we talked about the sweet potatoes being high in fiber, you're gonna see little fibers in there, even in the cooked sweet potatoes. They're not hairs, so don't worry. You're gonna wanna just look at the fiber and go, I am giving my colon so much health here. So now we're gonna put in our eggs, our free-range eggs, into the sweet potatoes. And we're gonna blend those up really well. So you're just blending them until they all come together. Like I said, if you guys have any questions or comments, I will get to them after the call. I wish I had better eyesight because I do this on my phone and I can't read the comments very well. So you guys just want the sweet potatoes blended pretty well in there. Okay, if you guys have blood orange olive oil, that makes these off the charts amazing. I haven't been able to find it. We have a little manufacturer close to one of the old towns I live by, but they're not open, so I haven't been able to get that, which is sad. But the coconut oil, it still tastes good in this recipe. So you can use avocado oil if you didn't have coconut oil. You could use butter. Hey Sue, good to see you on here. Okay, so now we're gonna use our maple syrup, which I already have in my handy dandy plunger. You guys have probably seen me use this a bunch. Great for peanut butter. So like I said, I like the maple syrup over the honey. So we're gonna blend that in there. And we're gonna add, I have the cacao powder and the coconut flour all in here together. Like I said, you guys can find the amounts, the ingredient amounts on my previous post down in the, if you just scroll down on my personal page, you'll be able to find that. If you love this recipe and the content of what I'm talking about, you're gonna wanna order the Replenish Me cookbook. So it's starting to look amazing. And then we're gonna add some baking soda. I'm cutting this in half, and so I'm having to do the math in my head. Sounds like my kids are talking to each other, but I don't want to read what they're saying. I love having family on here. This is so fun. We can't really be together, but we can in a way. Okay, so we have our vanilla, we have our baking soda powder, and remember we talked about all the trace minerals and the salt. We're gonna put a pinch. You guys know what a pinch is, right? It's like you get a pinch out of your salt, and that's a pinch. So there's a pinch of salt in there. All right, we're gonna mix this up really well now. So some optional add-ins that make it taste delicious if you're a coffee lover, adding a couple tablespoons of brewed coffee in there. Just coffee and chocolate make a really rich flavor, so coffee is great in here if you like that. And also, in my house, my hubby, he's got to have some chocolate. Now this does have the cocoa powder in it, but I like this brand. Sorry, it's not very good. Enjoy Life. It is virtually allergy-free. It basically has chocolate and cane sugar. You want to look for cane sugar when you see things that are manufactured. You don't want it just to say sugar. That's a whole nother subject. Emma's on here too, commenting. Okay, so here is your chocolate chips. This is probably the least healthy thing in here. You can omit it if you want to stick with straight, nutrient-dense, but my house, they're going to want the chocolate chips enough. There's not very many of them. So you just go on low with that. And that is it, you guys. Super easy, totally dense with nutrition. You can feel good. Now you don't want to eat a whole plate full of these things still. I'm not giving that out to you, but I'm saying when you feed your body fast food, packaged food, your body doesn't even know what that is. It's crap, if I can say that. Your body, it's not even going to realize that's food. It can't even figure it out. It suppresses your immune system. It does all kinds of horrible things. It's that difference between nutrient-dense and negative and depleting. We don't want negative depleting food. We want nutrient-dense. So this is nutrient-dense and it's yummy. What I did earlier is I made it into these nice little brownie bites. Those are super fun, right? I like to do that, especially if we have kids in the house. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, they're not bad for us. Why can't we eat a whole plate of them? Well, you're still going to have that insulin response. So no one needs a whole plate of brownies. So, but when you do this for your kids, you're teaching them, you know what, you don't need that much sugar. You don't need a plateful. You don't need 10 cookies, even if they're good for you. And also, if you're managing your weight or your blood sugar, which this is great for managing blood sugar, by the way, this size is a perfect size for you. It's not going to cause big jacks in your insulin either, and it's good, called portion control, right? So I made those before with these little mini baking cups. I like these because, see, I'm just totally nerding out on you again. These aren't bleached. See how they're brown? Whenever you can buy things that aren't bleached, that's really a good thing. You want to do that. Don't buy bleached. That's a whole nother subject too. So today I'm just going to put these brownies. Yeah, you know what? There's probably enough to put them. I was going to put them in this little pan and bake them. But you just turn your oven on 350. I'm going to put them in an 8x8. Put them in there, bake them. Ovens vary. You want to make sure these really are done when you touch them or you stick a toothpick or a stick in there, that it comes out clean. They stay super moist. They're really, really delicious and good for you. So that is it, guys. Look at, thanks for hanging in on all the scientific information and food value. I know a lot of people don't care about that, but I do, and I want to help you understand the value of food. So thank you to each and every one of you who hopped in here live. Thank you for anyone who's going to watch this recording. Please like, comment, and share, you guys. That's how Facebook gets the word out. I want to add value to as many people's lives as I can. I will post the link to the recipe book, Replenish Me, in the comments below. And that way you can go on there and get many, many, many delicious recipes. It's a great value. And you guys, thanks a bunch. If you have questions, ask below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks, my kiddos, for being on the call live. It was good seeing every one of you. Take care and have a great weekend.